My name is Miles Goldberg, and this is a Magical History Tour in American Sign Language. The Ohm Museum and the Mansion, the best-kept secret located right in the heart of Washington, D.C. As you're about to discover, it's also a music venue, a spectacular event space, and a boutique hotel. But its higher purpose is what makes it truly unique. It was first created over 40 years ago as a creative sanctuary, a space in which to explore your true self, and a place where everyone is welcome. Later on, I'll tell you all about our vision and even let you in on a few mansion secrets. But first, I want to give you a little bit of history. And as you can probably imagine, it's been anything but dull. This historic mansion was first designed as a family home in 1892 by U.S. Capitol architect Edward Clark. Clark flew in some of the finest wood craftsmen from Germany to help design the Capitol. He invited them to stay right here in the mansion. During their time here, they created much of the elaborate wood carvings and trim work. Leftover materials from the Capitol build were also used. All of these are still visible today. See if you can spot them. In the beginning, there were only 3 houses, interconnected through the basement and the second floor. Separate sleeping quarters for Clark and his 2 brothers were located upstairs. There were even plans to build a 4th house for Clark's sister in the side garden, but they never materialized. After Clark's era, the mansion transformed its appearance and purpose time and time again. In the 1930s, J. Edgar Hoover used it to house his FBI G-men. And in the 1960s, it became the home for the leaders of the student protest movement. On Valentine's Day 1980, it was bought by H. Leonard's, using credit cards, cash advances, and a lot of prayers. Major renovation work began, and the mansion reinvented itself once again. Today, she runs the house alongside her partner in business and in life, Ted Sparrow. Over the years, they created this amazing space, which is now made up of 5 interconnected townhouses, over 100 themed rooms, each with a uniquely different design motif, more than 70 secret doors, which all of our guests absolutely adore, and of course, endless surprises around every corner. All this and more make the Ohm Museum and the Mansion more than just a place, but rather an experience. This is the ballroom. Remember the extra house for Clark's sister that never got built? Well, one of the first things H did was build a 4th house. And Clark's dream finally became a reality. During renovation, H discovered 2 Tiffany windows that had been covered up. A curved window was nearly all but destroyed. What remained was lovingly restored by H. You can see it above the cloakroom in the Russian tea room. And you can find the second window in the aptly named Tiffany room. This is a conservatory. This is where the original staircase to the bedrooms used to be. When H moved in, she replaced the stairs with this rounded ceiling. It was later painted by the staff to resemble the sky. The aim? To encourage guests to look up and out of themselves. There are more than 100 ceilings in this house, each one completely different, all to make you realize that there is something greater than you. Throughout the Ohm Museum, you'll find an amazing collection of one-of-a-kind artifacts. From old-school toys to rare sound guitars, everything you see has been donated, and everything has a story. You'll also notice that everything is for sale too. 100% of what we raise goes towards our worthy museum programs. A few months after she moved in, H met a musician singing in a local thrift shop. His name was Cordell. She asked him to perform at the O Museum that night, which he did. Months later, Cordell came back, saying he needed a place to stay. So H gave him a room here for free. He lived here for 3 winters in a row, taught himself to play the piano, and went from living on the streets to playing at DC's exclusive clubs for $2,500 a week. Cordell sang here every Christmas Eve, and one year even sung alongside the great and unforgettable Luciano Pavarotti. He was also a Vietnam vet and was the inspiration behind our veteran program, designed specifically to help those suffering from PTSD. It's stories like Cordell's that truly capture the spirit of this place. Many people have no idea that civil rights activist Mrs. Rosa Parks lived here whenever she visited DC for over a decade. She was indeed our first ever hero in residence. This is her old room on the 3rd floor. The O Museum in the mansion is now officially on the African American Heritage Trail, and rightfully so. Many of her friends who were prominent civil rights activists themselves were also regular visitors. H wasn't the best student, so initially she had no idea who Mrs. Parks was, other than a wonderful person, of course. Over time, their bond grew stronger, and Mrs. Parks became a mentor and mother figure to H. In 1999, Mrs. Parks was invited to St. Louis to meet Pope John Paul II. She took H with her. H helped her craft a letter to read to him. In this picture, you can see her reading from that very letter. If you want to find out more about her amazing life and fascinating connection with the O Museum, look out for a collection of memorabilia, letters and pictures found all over the house. Over the years, this historic mansion has been a sanctuary for people of all walks of life, where dreams are made a reality. That brings me back to your experience. The O Museum is designed to excite and to inspire you. Exploring it is just the start of this process. You may get lost, but that's the point. Don't worry, everyone always finds their way again. Once you've had your fill of the 2nd floor, feel free to explore the rest of this house. But remember, the rooms on 3, 4 and 5 are first and foremost hotel rooms. So when you do see a Do Not Disturb sign, don't open the door. Tour highlights include a note to the great John Lennon. In here, you can find an original sketch he drew, one of his letters that was featured in the book The Lennon Letters by Hunter Davis, plus a cool hologram of the man himself. We even get a mention in Davis's book. He writes, "The O Museum in the mansion aims to be a haven for all kinds of creative people. When you check in, your name automatically disappears." John would have loved that. And we think so too. Also on the 3rd floor, you'll find the Rosa Parks room, the Mediterranean room where we hold regular jam sessions on Sundays, and our brand new experience room, the Pop Culture room. This isn't right. I want to be in there. That's much better. Welcome to the billiards room. Bet you've never seen a pool table like this one. It's yours for a mere $150,000. Quick, you don't want to miss this. Here we have the only 2-story suite in the mansion, the log cabin. Did you know H never even went to design school? You're probably wondering how she comes up with all these amazing room designs. So often in life, inspiration comes from the most unlikely places. Years ago, a former resident donated an item that sparked off the idea for the log cabin. That something was a fish tank. The chef's kitchen. This is by far the busiest of the 16 mansion kitchens. Here's where our talented chefs prepare their fantastic feasts for all of our events. We do weddings, business meetings, birthday parties, and private dinners. The list goes on. You dream it, we do it. Look closely in this room and you may even be able to find a secret door. Welcome to one of the most private places in the house, the wine cellar. H insisted on using this particular stone. She loved the way it sparkled and popped. These 4 walls were chiseled on site by an Italian mason and his son. We hold what we call amnesia dinners in this room. Our members bring together people from different backgrounds who have never met and hold meaningful discussions. Trust me, the results are simply magical. We've nearly come to the end of this video and the beginning of your own adventure. We recommend you take the elevator to the 4th floor and work your way down. As I told you before, everything is for sale. So if you do find something you love, either bring your item down to reception, or if it's too big, take a picture. But do remember, guitars are for looking at, not for playing. If it looks expensive, it probably is. Which isn't something to laugh about either, because you break it, you buy it. Our fantastic collection of gowns and hats are there for your viewing pleasure only. So please, unless you plan to buy, do not try. As you wander around, you'll notice signs like these. Please respect them, as they're there to protect our valuables, and trust me, your wallets. Someone had to pay over $20,000 for ruining a painting as they hunted for the doors. Secret doors do not have knobs, handles, switches, levers, buttons, or anything of the sort. This is DC, not Star Trek. They cannot be found behind the artwork, as you'll remember, or on the floor, or under carpets. They're not in the fireplaces, elevators, or in the toilets. You won't need to walk into a closet to find them, and you definitely won't need to move any furniture. Secret doors can be opened with a gentle push or pull. They can be large and weighty, or small enough for Tinkerbell to squeeze into. They can be easily found if you just slow down and open your mind. And just to put it into perspective, even Ted and H's children haven't found them all. Everyone's different. You'll all be drawn to different art, music, stories, and rooms. That's the beauty of this place. The O Museum will be a unique experience for all of you. No matter who you are and how many times you come back, I guarantee you'll discover something new each and every time. But one thing's for sure, you'll always feel right at home. Now, it's time to get lost.